I am not pleased with a lot of the changes that Fish has made. I think the ideas for the reasons that were initially stated as to why other changes were good or made sense, but in the actual way that they did the changes did not make sense and kind of ended up like a clusterfuck of shit. Let's just say it like that. Um, and kind of were not done in a way that actually I don't feel were done right or in a good way
or as well as they could have.
or as well as they could have. Um, and I do not believe that it is actually properly balanced in any way, shape, or form. I like the idea and the concept of fish. Right now, I do not feel like it is in any way in a solid state, and I think it's consistently changing every 2 seconds, and there's nothing solid about the game right now. I am interested to
Because
see,
of the base concept, which is to fish.
yeah, except for the base concept, which is to fish, but even with that, it's still kind of in a toss up because right now, even that's not really in a solid state because all the mutation changes also are kind of fucked up. Um, there's a whole lot going on that I think definitely needs to be tweaked out and worked out. Uh, I think they're playing too much of trying to make too many sides happy, but without actually balancing the game, but also without really understanding the things that like a equal compromise that would actually I think make both sides fairly happy or the majority of both sides happy. And it's a fine line to walk. It's not so much in not liking the new fish, it's the continuous updates that there's nothing consistent. Slash new fish, I guess. Again, I like the idea and the concept. Like, so let's take four updates ago, for an example. The original statements was to balance everything and have an actual true balance, which nothing is truly balanced, but we'll go with that for a second. And they were going to nerf how much fish cost at sell. That idea is a great idea, right? Except instead of leaving it at that, they didn't just nerf how much fish cost at sell. They also nerfed the mutation chances, the XP level,
Interesting.
the mutations itself, everything.
It's like they took it a bit too far, which I
Way
get.
too far. When even at that point, 4 weeks ago, before any of the nerfs, people already were complaining that the game was too grindy, which to me it was
It's
not.
not.
It's not. Like it
It's
wasn't, and
really
it
not.
isn't. But over half the game base was already complaining that things were too grindy. Like, let's take Fab Quest, for example, or even Try Hard Quest. People hate those two quests, right? Already, as is. So then you're going to nerf everything into the ground, including make the quests harder, like Try Hard Quest, and the minigame harder. So you're gonna piss off your fan base even more and make it even more grindy. That to me doesn't seem like a smart idea. You're gonna piss everyone off more. But again, by doing all these things, that's actually not making it more balanced. It actually contradicts what you said you were wanting to do. Because nothing is balanced. Yes, Aquarium absolutely needed to be nerfed. 100%. But, again, nerfing it in a balanced way. Now, when I hit put in Best Fish, it's putting in a fuck ton of duplicates, which by default would not be doing me better because duplicates by default give me less money. So that doesn't actually properly work versus working with fish that is a hunt fish that has a higher weight multiplier with a higher mutation multiplier and is giant. But you're putting in a fish with no mutation that has no weight multiplier and putting it in as a duplicate and telling me that's worth more? Tell me how that makes sense. There's no logical sense there. Like, it's not actually balanced. It's a clusterfuck of shit. That's what that is.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom.
If I want to buy some percent in it, well, first off, I ain't paying jack shit. Um, like, what do you mean invest in it? Like, why would I don't know. What's your game, mister? No, so, nah, my Fab Quest. Well, that actually, going back to that, that was another thing that irritated me. Like, not gonna lie, when they brought out Dreambreaker, which was a quest rod, a new item that was better than Try Hard, which in my opinion should have been. It's a newer item. It was also a quest item. It should have been more than Try Hard on the multiplier by default because of that. But not only that, prior to them adding Solar Blaze to Wicked Fang, the only way to get Solar Blaze, because the original rod was taken out, so if you didn't have that rod prior to it being taken out, was the only way to do it was through eclipses, which wasn't necessarily easy, and it was a grind. And half of the game base, and I know this because they'd come in my stream begging for all of the fish to do so, most of the players didn't even actually do it. They begged people for the items for it. So, in my opinion, they have no right to actually complain or say otherwise whether or not it should or should not be if you didn't actually do any of the quests for it. But everybody wanted to complain that Dreambreaker was a higher multiplier than Tryhard, because supposedly Tryhard quest was harder. Okay, bro. First off, regardless whether it was or was not, doesn't really make a difference because it's an older item, right? So by default, on that alone, means it should not be worth more or do better than a newer item from a newer location. Newer locations and newer items should always be more on a multiplier or do better than an old item. Otherwise, your newer locations are going to be useless. Nobody's going to want to do them because they're pointless. They're worthless. So, by putting all your effort into making new locations, nobody's going to want to play them. So there's one point. Second point, if you didn't do the quest, you really don't have a right to speak on whether or not the quest was harder or not. That quest was a lot longer than doing the try hard quest, which also, yes, did get harder when they did the mini game. But okay, I did both quests. I have a slew of health issues plus arthritis in my hands, and I still did that fucking quest. And to me, doing Drainbreaker was a lot longer, had a lot more entailed to it, a lot more fish that you had to catch, and getting the Solar Blaze before they added it to Wicked Fang. And since I did not have the other rod, was quite a pain in the ass to do. And we had to do it for 3 people. And then we had a ton of people coming in here begging for all the fish because they didn't want to do it. So there's a ton of people who didn't do the quest. And again, like I said, by default, it's a newer item, so it should always be better than your old items that's been here from forever. Fourth point, do any of these people actually run try hard? No, because it's a bitch ass rod to run. Nobody fucking runs it. So wouldn't you want a rod that's actually worth something to run? And that's easier to run? That can still give you good money? Yes. Yeah, I mean, I would. And I would rather something that's worthwhile coming out of a new area or a new zone that makes doing the zone worthwhile. Granted, I come from a different line of games. I come from true online MMO games. I play ESO. This game, in comparison, is nothing like ESO. When people want to bitch about the grind, I tell them go play that game. You want grind? You'll be there for days, weeks, if not months, trying to get one single item. This game
Yeah.
is fun, and it has good solidarity, like bone and structure to it. But I think right now what they're doing with it is fucking it up, and that's why people are leaving. Hello,
There's no real
Mari.
stability to it.
Yeah, it's got no stability and no consistency. It did when I first started, like, it was really cool. Everything seemed the same, like, everything made sense, and it was fairly logical. And now it just went, like, haywire. And it's like, holy fuck, what the fuck are you doing? I'll give you my big trout. Take it. Trying to get more starlight worms. This particular quest is actually the one that's trolled me the most. My mutated shark was a pain in the ass, but the frozen walnut is the one that hates me the most. I've done over 200 or ate through over 240 or 60 starlight worms. Plus with having my angler's gloves, so technically I've had more. Um, and it hates me. 12 totems for what? Yep, I have the angler's gloves. That's what I just said. Even wearing my gloves, it's still that, yeah. Nope, it hates me. Originally, I was using Destiny the first go, and I had Glittered and Blessed on it. And then yesterday, I switched halfway through my stack of worms. That took me 4 days to get another 67 worms. And I stacked my Starlight worms on top of, since they added Nova to Cerulean, which I think is also dumb. Um, they should have just added a new rod that had Nova, but whatever.